What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tech Talk Thursday. It used to be Tech Talk Tuesday, but I figured we would need a little more time in between Sunday's stream and my specific stream to plan stuff out. Today, joining me as usual is El Chizo Reviews, and we're going to be looking at gaming laptops and editing laptops and their features and designs. Want to take it away with the editing, El Chizo?
Yes, JT, let me just bring up my little list here. First thing I want to start off with is actually more of a graphics card deal.
Now, before we get into this, I'd like to throw a disclaimer out there. Obviously, gaming and editing videos and software of that nature can go hand in hand. Look at, what is that? Unreal Engine. That being said, please take it away.
All right, well, the first one is a graphics card I happen to own. I didn't realize, I was a stoop and thought, because the MSI 970 gaming motherboard accepted NVIDIA's EVGA SLI connection, that it would accept just a single EVGA. Now, when you have the right motherboard, this is not a bad graphics card to own. It's actually great for budget editing software and gaming PC if you're really into that. But if you're editing if you're editing videos or pictures, frames per second isn't as major an issue because you're not controlling anything on screen. So you don't have to worry too much about this being cheaper NVIDIA, I say cheaper, more affordable graphics card that by NVIDIA. It will do you just fine. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no such thing as a cheap NVIDIA graphics card. Thought I'd crack a little bit of a chuckle there. I suppose it
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
work out as well as
I
planned.
say afford. Yeah, I say affordable. You can get one for essentially $125, $130 on Amazon. I'm thinking I might do a contest to give away this other one that I've got going here.
Yeah. I was gonna say a contest. We need to do a contest here in a little while. See if we can bring in some extra people. Anyway,
It's a one of like from what I understand, it's actually one of the more favorite for gaming PCs as well. But if you're just using it for video editing, then it should be just fine. You can obviously drop a little less money on, say, the EVGA GeForce. Uh, it's it's $29 to $32. It's on the lower end, but it's definitely usable. Or if you're a little nervous and you definitely want to make sure that you're getting something that you can see, you can get something from MSI, which a fairly good one. I probably should have grabbed that one instead, but when JT and I were mapping out our PCs originally, I dove in blind. Didn't feel like changing out picking a new graphics card.
yeah, and the one thing that he slipped up on when we were well, we both slipped up on when we were picking these is we didn't see what motherboards were actually compatible with the graphics cards. Sorry, scratch that, reverse it. Uh, what graphics cards were compatible with the motherboards. So he ended up getting a graphics card that was useless to his motherboard, unfortunately. Otherwise, he would have been set up for playing things like Fallout on just about medium settings.
Yeah, it's sad but true. I do plan to, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I do plan to bite the bullet and get a new graphics card eventually. I just got to deal with, well, a lot of adult shit right now because I'm not getting paid for 100 my usual amount due to jury duty, so my company only compensates me for the difference.
What a pain in the ass. Anyway,
Yep, so I'm done rambling. I've kind of rambled on about cards for, I mentioned like 3 different kinds you could get. How about I mention 3, then you mention 3, and we'll cruise from there.
okay. So, where do I start? Oh my lord. Okay, I'm not going to actually. Okay, I think I will just jump into um graphics cards. Like he said, the NVIDIA GeForce series is good for oh shit. Is great for gaming and video editing and whatnot, but if you're looking affordable, you might want to go pick up I mean really affordable. You might want to go get what is that? Radeon R7.
Yeah,
It's sorry.
no, go ahead.
Radeon R7 is it's compatible with just about any sort of motherboard you can pick up. I say just about because you still have to match up oh, what's that? How am I going to word this? I don't want to word it as simply as matching up DDRs. What's that? Direct driver resolution or something to that effect?
Yeah, DDR3.
Yeah, you want to match up your DDR, the DDR. You want if you buy a motherboard compatible with DDR3, you're going to want to buy a graphics card compatible with that. Not and to go a little deeper, buy a graphics card that's actually compatible with the motherboard itself. See, we had matched things, or we had matched the numbers, the DDR3 and whatnot, and but we didn't really check to see if it was, like I said, compatible. So he ended up wasting about 100 blah blah blah. Anyway, Radeon R7 is a DDR3. I'm gonna pull up the product features instead of trying to talk out of my ass.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's probably a good plan.
RX7 is the laptop version. What we're looking for is where's it at? Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. That's like $600. What?
The Gigabyte AMD Radeon R7.
Yes.
Well, it's you. There's an OC edition with a core clock of 900 megahertz.
Bingo. Right here. It's only a 2 GB. The Gigabyte AMD Radeon R7 240 OC video graphics card. Let's go into its features. Let me show you its features. You're right. Like El Chizo here just stated, it has a core clock, 900 megahertz um, overcharge, or is that overclock? It's yeah, it's
Um,
overclock. I'm sorry, which means it's going to push out more power, or it's going to suck up more power to push up better video results.
yep. Of course, if you have the right motherboard that has a slow startup to compensate for overclocking, to keep it cool, then you shouldn't have to worry too much about burning out anything in the computer.
Yeah, you waste about $500 on a laptop. You want to make sure you don't burn up any components. That'd be my luck. Um, but luckily for you, this actually comes with a built-in 10 centimeter cooler, so you won't really have to worry about frying your any of your components, such as motherboards and all that shit. Anyway, I don't want to go off onto a tangent because I just start bitching. No, I'm good at that. It requires a 400-watt power supply, which shouldn't be that much of a problem. It looks like it runs off of standard power supply. something you can get cheap anywhere. I do most of my shopping on Amazon, so anywhere for
Yep.
me
Of
is
course.
any sort of buyer on Amazon.
Yep. Of course. Actually, power source is something we should mention too. Fair warning to anyone who is building their own PC. Even if you like the one thing I made sure I remembered, even if I didn't know that my graphics cards weren't compatible, I always made sure that when I was building my PC, at least plugging everything into the motherboard, that I had a power supply plugged into the wall but not turned on to ground myself.
Good advice. Good advice. Last thing you want to do is grab a hot wire.
Yep.
Fry yourself and your components. You won't take that much damage. Your hit points will remain relatively in the green. Sorry.
They're lighting fireworks off back
Jazzes.
there.
I was gonna say, is it World War III out in your place? Shit.
Nope, that doesn't happen for another few seasons.
World War III. Oh, tourist season. Christ. At any rate,
Yes.
I need. Hmm. How about I pull up my list for this PC that I was going to try my damnedest to build.
Okay, no.
Where are we at? Did I have a specific list?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to apologize in advance if that goes on much longer.
Ha ha!
Uh, yeah, that's not really something I can control from here.
Oh yeah, another piece of advice. Uh, don't buy a power supply that's over what you need it to be.
Not too far over what you need it to be.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, if you check your power requirements and you only need 240 watts, you definitely want to get a little more than that, because if that's just what it needs to run. If you want it to run for whatever reason, you're going to need a more powerful power supply.
There it is. The MSI G4. Oh, is that right? Yeah. The MSI GeForce GT 730 is what I was looking at for this PC specifically. Um, it's just a little PCI Express video card. It plugs right into your motherboard. It's max dis mass. I didn't do enough vocal exercises. It's max resolution that for okay, max resolution is 496 times 2000 or 4096 times 2160 pixels, and it supports two monitors. You don't really need two monitors, but it's America. When do we ever only grab what we need?
Yep. I mean, I suppose, like, for the editing argument, if you had two monitors, then you could be doing two different things at once.
Yeah, but then again, you could also like window something down and split it across the one screen.
True, however, when you window something down, you do lose a lot of it and have to do a lot of scrolling.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That is annoying, but you don't really need two monitors.
You need
And here I
three.
am saying that when
One in the
you
front,
need
two for
eight.
peripheral.
In that case, you might as well just buy a fucking dome,
That'd be cool.
a monitor dome, and have like fucking 50 tall towers just surrounding you. Make your entire room one big computer.
You could rule the world from in there.
Yes. We at Weekend
Weekend
Dojo
Dojo.
do not. I got it. I got it. We at Weekend Dojo are not spreading about our plans of world domination. We're just
No,
kind of poking around at it. However, its memory interface, if you guys are curious, is only going to sit at 128 bits. Not
yeah,
only, that's actually pretty damn good.
that's actually really damn good. 64-bit
Yeah.
still being a great just
64
huge
bits
amount.
the standard.
Yeah, because
64
you're
bit
always
is standard. Sorry.
and I think the reason people, they hear the word 64-bit and they think less of it is because of, the Nintendo 64 and whatnot. But that's only for graphics. But if you have I believe, a 64-bit processor, you're capable of achieving a certain exponent higher.
Yeah. Now, putting that in layman's terms, it'd be the difference between running Silent Hill Downpour on low settings versus running Silent Hill Downpour on high settings, and seeing what happens to the rain when it actually hits the ground.
Yep,
Is the difference between running a 32-bit system and a 128-bit system.
absolutely. And it does, for having 128 bits, that's a really good, that's pretty good for the price.
Looking back at this, I think I'm gonna start making some purchases. I love
Yep, just
Weekend Dojo.
Weekend Dojo,
Shit.
training weekend warriors, go slow, and you will be victorious. Just know there's something here for you if you got nothing else. I am off key.
Looks like you need to do a few more vocal exercises too.
It's right there. It's a hmm. Shut up. I put the old Lucky Charm away. That's probably killing the mood. Oh, you guys can't even see it. Okay, then I can just.
At any rate, that being said, those are the couple of video cards that I was going to put out there when I was building my gaming tower. Now, the combined total of what my entire system was going to be set at was right at $540. So that is definitely not going to match up with the topic that we were going or that we had set ourselves out on being $500 and below.
Yep. Of course. That's just for the computer itself. You're obviously going to spend more.
You need the keyboard, you
If
need
you're
the mouse, you need the monitor, blah blah blah.
Yep, you need whatever connection you prefer to use for connecting to your modem.
Now, if you just so happen to have the
If
accidental luck that I have and have a 16-pin connector in the back of your TV, then you don't have to worry about going and getting a monitor.
Yep, of course, if you're using your TV for gaming on a PC and you're running at 60 frames per second, you may not get the same experience as if you're on an actual computer monitor. Because what a TV does is sometimes if it starts to lose frames, it'll try to guess what those in between frames are. And this works good for movies, but for gaming, it's not as smooth.
Right, right. I never said I didn't recommend going out and buying a monitor.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Like I said, it's not impossible to run. It's just
it's
just
annoying. It's
know.
good to get a start up on.
Yeah,
I keep cutting you off, and I'm so sorry.
it's cool, man. Uh, to be perfectly honest, if I ever start to just go into a long just let me stop because jury duty has my brain frazzled.
Yeah, I'm surprised we were even able to do Tech Talk Thursday due to jury duty and the magnitude of your jury duty.
Yep. Um, I guys, I can't. I will say I'm in jury duty now. I'm not supposed to talk about it until the whole thing's over. I may talk about it here on the dojo in a few weeks.
Dude, I wouldn't even go into all of that. That's rough.
Like Yep. Suffice it to say, it has been rather stressful, but back to the topic at hand.
Moving on, you're right. Since the topic was not uh computers under $600, which would have been nice, and we limited it at 600 or computers under 500, we're going to actually, if El Chizo over there does not mind, we're going to gravitate a little more towards laptops because
Go right ahead.
if you're looking for something under $500, you're not going to really get it when it really get that when it comes to building a tower. You probably be better off looking around the $800 to $1,000 range. Not now, don't get me wrong. There are laptops specifically for gaming that are right around that price range, $800 to $1,200, or the price of a used car and your unborn child.
Yeah, yeah. I signed that away before I even. It's something like credit. I have to pay them off later.
Yeah, your firstborn. Sorry. Yeah, your firstborn and couple of blood debts to. Nah, never mind. I'm not gonna get into that. Let's just get started. Let me pull up the laptop I specifically am looking for myself.
In case JT starts signing any contracts.
It's only like $364. That's just an arm and a leg. You might as well equate me to Edward Elric. Edward. I'm gonna catch so much hell for that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not gonna touch Alienware, I assume.
No, oh, no. Actually, the brand I'm looking at is called Lenovo.
Lenovo's well, they're not really what you would. You've probably everyone in the audience who has finished high school or is going into high school or at any point has had experience with a high school computer lab will know that Lenovo is the preferred brand of schools.
It's the preferred brand of schools, yes, but the it's the one I'm looking at is definitely much different than a fucking school brand laptop. Because
Absolutely, it's just
no public school has the fucking budget to afford $365 for a computer lab per computer.
yeah. Just it was to give the audience a point of reference.
I
And I
know. I'm
think what you'll
sorry.
now it's not a very close point of reference because the Lenovo's that you've probably worked with in school are more or less just ancient stone tablets that you have to chisel your commands into.
Yes. Something that runs completely almost entirely off of command prompt gives you, yes, a graphic user interface, but you're better off just trying to navigate through CMD.
Oh,
They put all these blocks, Ari.
as Tone said, are you kidding me? I'm in high school and my school is an Acer. Or my school is Acer fanatics.
Ew! Ew! Acer is shit!
Oh, you set them off.
Acer is such shit! Why? I'm not gonna go into that tangent.
Anyway, so what
Okay,
I was saying
no,
is like
okay,
for
maybe.
which
Sorry.
calm yourself. Deep breath. While he's meditating, I would just like to say that the Lenovo's that audience are probably familiar with, except for Tone, obviously, is but is not just by any means the standard.
No, that's just the shit that they pawn off to schools so that they can make a quick buck to put out the computer I'm looking at right now.
Why don't you give us
Now,
the rundown?
rundown, features and details. Its screen length is about 15.6 inches, or 1,366 pixels across and 768 pixels down, with like I stated earlier, the AMD Radeon R7 graphics card, which also has shared memory, so you're able to put. I would think that would mean you're able to put a another graphics card in there. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So wait, you said it had an open DDR3 port?
It said something about shared graphics memory.
Oh, shared graphics memory. I think that means that it's more or less using. You know what? I'm not familiar with that term. Speculating, and don't take my word as gospel. I imagine that it's probably using whatever onboard graphics capabilities or the memory dedicated to that on the motherboard, and using it to help boost its own.
Oh, okay, okay. Now
And
that
that's
is
just me
pretty good
taking a shot in the dark.
That is pretty good speculation. I was going to say it uses some of its, or it has its own saved space on the disk itself.
That's also probably very likely. Keep in mind, we are not computer experts. You're just watching two average Joes kind of stumble our way through the world of computer building.
And stumble we are. I think I'd be better off having my brother Josh come in and explain it to me before explaining it to you. So what goes where and what to get. I'm not completely familiar with all of the terminology, just enough to get me by. Just enough to get me by. Anyway, it's running an AMD FX 7500 quad-core processor, vocal exercises, with
Yep. Now,
2.10. Ooh, my bad.
I was just gonna say it's like for a four core, it's not top of the line, obviously, because you know Intel has all the six cores, and you've got all these 6, 8 whatnots.
32 cores.
32 cores. Who needs
Not
that much
shitting
power?
you.
Who
Do you
needs that
imagine the
much?
amount of porn you could fly through with a 32 core processor?
No, but something tells me you want to find out.
Shh. Not really. I don't want to fry my new computer before even getting to play Death Stranding on it. Shit.
Um, but yeah,
Anyway,
so it's like four core, not the greatest out there, but for the purposes of this laptop, it should do just fine.
yeah, and if you really want to fuck with it, the processor's the easiest part of the computer to get to, or the laptop to get to, aside from the hard drive.
Absolutely.
So you can easily just pop better fucking speed. But you probably want to get something from AMD because that's what the laptop is already built to run off of. It's again
Yep.
matching. Anyway, it runs about 2.1 gigahertz with it apparently has a turbo up to 3.3 gigahertz.
Oh,
8
not bad.
gigabyte DDR3. That's okay. That's looking good. With 1600 megahertz on that DDR3 and 1 terabyte hard drive. Lots of storage.
Now,
Lots of storage. 500 gigabytes of porn.
keep in mind that that's actually very impressive for an HDD if that's a hard drive disk. However, if it's an SDD, that's about standard.
HDD.
Okay, so that's actually really good for a hard drive disk because the difference between a hard drive disk and a soft disk drive disk is that the hard drive disk actually has a physical disk in there. And in order to locate memory on it, it does actually have to scan the disk for certain files. On an SSD, you definitely have a lot more storage because it's not pulling from a disk, it's pulling from a set of memory circuits, and it can locate memory much quicker.
Oh, so that's pretty much a solid state drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, SSD, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, solid state drive. Now you're right though. I would much rather prefer to have a solid state drive than a hard disk drive. I've actually seen or you kind of refreshed my memory on that, and I appreciate that. Besides, those are a little easier to remove too because you don't have to worry about accidentally scratching a disk.
Yeah, even though the disk is well contained and doesn't have a lot of wiggle room, it does happen.
Yeah, if you've got shit luck or you're trying to force it out of there, you're gonna end up scratching a disk.
Yep, that's why choose, like, if you are building a PC, by the way, choosing the right case is important. It should have a shelf dedicated to the hard drive or or solid state drive, so that it's not gonna at the risk of bumping anything.
That being said, I'm going to actually pull the tower up. I think you guys should buy for this because it has cases for every component of your computer. Um, come on. Slow phone. I shattered it.
Oh, Tone says, "Dear JT, we are trying to be family friendly here." Since when?
I don't think I forgot. Not everybody grew up with the family I grew up with. So,
Different kind of family friendly.
yeah. Oh God.
Anyway,
Um. Anyway, you're gonna want to probably look for a mid tower. Has shelves dedicated towards everything. What I'm looking at right now is the Apevia X Trooper. It has two different ports for USB, a shelf, or at least a dedicated space for every single little bit of tech that goes in there, and 5 fans.
that's
Keep
impressive right
things
out the
super
box.
cool. Yeah, two big ones on either side, two on the top, and one in the back.
Yep, the one I'm running, the Hellfire, which I believe was by, huh?
Razer. Razer.
Yeah. Anyway, not Razer.
Thought Razer had a Hellfire.
There was three. There was a Hellfire, Dragon Scale, and a third one.
Are you shitting me right now?
Anyway, the one I'm running actually has a slot for, your motherboard, everything in it. Two slots for two different whatever hard drives like device you're using, and a spot for a radiator.
Whoa!
Yep,
I
kind of a
think I'm gonna
heat
have to
sink
buy
deal.
your tower. Do you mind after stream sending me a link to that?
Absolutely, man. It's not expensive either.
No, I wouldn't expect it to be. Actually, right now I'm looking and I can buy a fan, this tower, and a hard drive for $150. That's half my
That's
setup
actually
right there.
Yep, and then you just got to get your RAM and sound card if there's not already good sound on it.
I'll buy a sound card anyway. I don't like anything stock sound. I don't like anything stock. Are you kidding me?
He's like a Japanese drift racer, except with computers.
Nah, my name's not Han. That's nicer than the first joke I was gonna run across. Anyway, um,
Yep.
I do believe we should provide links to these Amazon pages in the description below. I should have, but I think I'll do that after this goes up
Yep.
because I'm sure you guys are going to want to view some of the stuff that we've mentioned here every now and again, just to kind of get an idea of what you're going to build for yourself. Because when it comes to Tech Talk Thursday, today's Thursday, we want to keep it as affordable as possible for you. And the only thing that's going to be pricey outside of buying all the pieces, parts, and whatnot, is going to be your picking your operating system.
Yep. I'm going with Windows 7 Professional.
Lucky. I'm gonna have to buy a copy of Windows 10. That or I'm gonna have to go with Linux, and I don't want to go with Linux.
Yeah, because like Linux is definitely reliable, but not a lot of games are optimized for it.
No, you're gonna have to buy what's that? Or not buy. You're gonna have to download Wine Windows EXE operator if you're going
Yeah,
to
and
run
that's just like
anything Windows executable. Sorry.
that's like a whole other step you have to throw into getting a game and setting it up.
Yeah, you're better off just buying Windows whatever version. You know, I remember the days when Windows 98 was the top thing.
Oh yeah,
You know, they're getting that to run on a 3DS.
of course they are.
3DS XL to be specific. Yeah, somebody actually went and hacked a 3DS XL to run Windows 98. And subsequently, the same person also hacked an Apple Watch to make it run Windows 95.
Not Macintosh operating system. Uh, that that would have been funny, because Apple IIs.
Oh God. I want to know how he did that. That is fucking brilliant, okay? To get Windows 98, a full-blown operating system to run on such a tiny little device.
I think it just goes to show you the giant leaps we've made in hardware technology.
Speaking of hardware, just thinking about that. Oof. At any rate, actually, there's a few more things I want to pull up about this. Um, these in particular. The fuck out of my way. Specifically, the motherboard. I gotta find it again, but I'm not gonna run it on my phone this time because my phone's only gonna give me limited. Oh, there we go. We're going to want all the product features for the motherboard. The other three. Bingo. The motherboard's the most important part. It's basically the
You can't
map.
have you can't. Yeah, you can't run a train without any tracks.
Exactly.
Now, fun fact: most silicon uh, processor chips, or circuits in general, how they work is, well, silicon is a semiconductor, and they can etch little pathways into it using whatever method they prefer to use at the time. And so essentially, you've got a tiny little circuit board stacked on top of a bunch of other tiny little circuit boards in a tiny little casing that is attached to a larger circuit board. So it's just running the same kind of circuits together over and over again in different combinations to achieve the desired effect.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the motherboard that I have listed, it's supposed to be optimized to play Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least the ability to run its online capabilities. It's supposed to run Battlefield 4 with very, very minimal interference, like dropping frame rates, audio, fucking game freezes and whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's a very common problem with Battlefield on PC.
Oh, there goes the static again. I hate to say it, just a little bit.
Oh, let me see. How's that?
It'll go all right. It'll be all right.
Okay, doke. So let's. Anyway, so
They dumped a lot of money into this. Like they put straight up 3 times more gold into the connectors than normal. Mind you, if you guys don't know, gold is used as a conductor. So when you stuff the USB into the port, you can you get a faster connection. Where was I going with that?
um, well, I'll keep rambling on. So
More
maybe
gold
connection.
equals better conductivity. Yeah, connection, yes, but conductivity when electricity passes through the wires, through the circuits, and into the actual component that you want it to run or that you need to run.
It also it also means that
There we
it's
go.
not going to wear down as quickly because
Exactly.
gold does not corrode like other metals do.
Oh no, it's actually very non-corrosive. Why am I ad-libbing on that? You've done like made the point known. Yeah. I won't lie. I'm also using this as a chance to look into this too because I really wanted to peek at it. Oh, it's actually optimized to start running at Windows 8. If you guys were curious.
Now, Windows 8 is not the
And
best operating system.
no, by and large, it's not. I'd rather have Windows 7 than anything because it's just easier to run through and look at. But I will take what I can get, and it looks like I'm stuck with 10. Um, it is optimized for 2 different MSI-styled graphics cards to run side by side, and I'm pretty sure this is only a mini. 4 slots for RAM, and it looks to me like the connector for the hard drive's dead center.
Alrighty. Oh, that's a tricky thing too. It's like when you buy a new hard drive for your PC, one, make sure that you're plugging it in the right way, because that's like the first of many problems people come across. Two, that little tube of paste they give you, that is not glue. Do not stick that where you're going to plug into the socket you're going to plug the damn processor into. Three, it is a coolant so that when you attach the fan to the top of the processor, it doesn't. Don't use the whole tube. Only use like a rice grain size little dab.
Thank you for that, because I
JT's.
was going to think it was just that. I've never built a computer before, so I was gonna fuck up my processor. Shit! Oh, I am the wrong person to be talking about this.
Yep. Now, of course, a lot of the times, if you get a processor, it may come with a fan. If it doesn't come with a little tube of adhesive coolant, then the underside of the fan that it may come with probably does. You'll have a little
Like a
peel and stick.
sticker kind of thing.
Yeah, you little peel and stick, then just lock it down.
That's good to know. I'll be looking for that. Shit. I just almost ruined my computer and I don't even have it yet.
See, this is why it's important to watch us, guys. We are the rookies. We will make the rookie mistakes. Just don't repeat what we do.
and you'll
No
be golden.
tribes alone, boys and girls.
Now I'm more apt to fuck up than he is, even if I take all the necessary precautions, because just I have I I have that kind of luck. Much like the diarrhea of the mouth, I have diarrhea of the fingertips too.
Why does everything you touch turn to garbage?
I can't finish that quote.
Uh, but yeah, it's like just a few rookie mistakes. Now, JT obviously did think ahead, and he bought himself a proper toolkit for building PCs, which included a static grounding wristband. Now, this is actually a good thing to have because you can just clip it onto a piece of conductive metal and you're grounded so that you won't put static inside your machine. I didn't do that. I used the Gorilla version where I just plugged my power supply into the wall, didn't turn it on, and just kept touching it every time I removed my hand from the inside of the case.
Touching what?
The power supply that was plugged into the wall but not turned on.
Oh, okay. Nope, I got you. No, he's right. I had to think ahead. I got really nervous about building a computer and I didn't want to fry anything I was buying. So I bought the toolkit only for the static wristband.
Yep. Of course, there's probably some magnetic screwdrivers in there, yeah?
Yeah, actually there's one and it's interchange. I'll just grab the fucking case. It's right next to me. This once again, okay, we initially were going to talk about building a computer / buying a computer under $500, but this just turned into a how-to, so we're just gonna roll with it. How about that?
Yep. And once we finish this, there is like a quick subject I would like to talk about for the audience's benefit, but that can wait just before we go into open discussion.
Okay, please mention so. Please do. Yes, it came with a magnetized screwdriver, but with interchangeable heads.
Which is very good. Now, the reason you actually want a magnetized screwdriver is the magnet in the screwdriver, firstly, is not going to be harsh enough to damage anything in your computer. As a matter of fact, it can be quite helpful, especially if you've got shaky hands like I do when you forget to eat. So you may accidentally drop a screw underneath your motherboard. And so what you can do with the magnetic screwdriver is just hold it out there and it'll attract right to it. You can get it out of there without having to unscrew your whole motherboard.
Bingo. Or if you buy the kit, if you go the cheap route and buy the kit like I did, well, the expensive but the cheap route, it comes with extra screws, washers, and among other things.
Well, the reason I make that point is like you don't want to leave the screw under the motherboard because it's conductive and it could short a circuit.
Good point. Yeah, listen to him before me. But just in case you do lose one in like the carpet or something, you got extras. I'll rephrase.
Yep.
I'll rephrase. I don't want anybody frying their shit.
You'll find you'll have redundant levels of screws when you do this.
Yeah. I didn't think that part through. Like I said, I really only bought this for the static wristband. Because that's all I wanted it for. Which is this, by the way. It just slap it on your wrist, and it velcros down onto your wrist. It is by Insignia. Insignia, if you wanna send me some more shit, I'm not gonna say no.
Please sponsor us. We're desperate.
Yes, thank you. Then it's what would you call that?
The cable.
Bungee? Yeah. And you just slap it on something metal and it takes all the static away.
Yep, it grounds you. Essentially, instead of the circuit stopping with you, it runs the circuit off into something conductive so that there's no harsh feedback into the motherboard.
Yeah, what he said.
It's like for any of you who've worked with a welder.
Yeah. I don't know shit about shit when it comes to welding, actually. Like, My problem, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's just I can't get the words out. That's probably why I need to start scripting shit. It comes with your. I'm gonna call
Gigantic
them
tweezers.
gigantic tweezers. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Comes with. There's no technical terminology. Needle nose pliers and Allen wrenches.
Allen
You can
wrenches are
get it
going to
at
be a
Best.
big help.
Oh, definitely, and it comes on a nice little key ring, so you don't lose any of them. But if you're torquing something too hard, you it's only held on by like small little key rings essentially. So you run the risk of pulling it off and losing one of the Allen wrenches. You can get this kit and the whole kit and caboodle for 30 bucks at Best Buy, depending on where you're at. I highly recommend getting something like this because, well, you don't want to take your chances.
Yeah, you don't want to take your chances twerking your wrenches too hard.
Twerk, twerk, twerk it out. Twerk,
Ah.
twerk. Uh, damn it, Chess.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Weekend Dojo does not condone the abuse of your computer building tools.
No, no. Um, especially when it comes to these. Anyway, now that we're done twerking,
Yep. So obviously the right equipment will help. A lot of these can be found in a hardware store, although computer building kits are probably your best option because they have specifically what you need.
and if I may say something, when it comes to getting uh, your getting cables for your power supply, if you're going to do so, the power supply should come with cables itself. But like I said, I don't like stock. I am the Asian or the Japanese drift racer for computers. Get something very well insulated, probably with some sort of nylon on the outside too.
Yep, that's actually what came with my personal power supply. It's a 500 watt.
Lucky save.
Uh, yep, my max power requirements are 300 watts, but I went with 500 because I do plan to overclock it very soon in the future.
Why don't we explain what overclocking does to the audience?
All right, well, essentially, what overclocking is it's forcing more power through your components, and a lot of the components you use to build your own PC are designed to accept this. And when you force more power through those components, essentially the idea is that you get results for your processor. You get a little more processing power for your RAM. You get a little more RAM power. You get more power out of your graphics card sometimes, as we realized earlier.
Meaning slower. I'm sorry. Okay. Meaning slower load times. If you're playing Minecraft, faster chunk loading, stuff to that effect.
Yep.
See, I will
Now
never
keep in
ever
mind.
ever know. Keep in
Go
mind,
ahead.
I
Oh,
will
just a
never
little
ever
safety
ever
tip.
learn the fuck. Go for it, Chaz. I'm gonna shut up now.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna say it, then you talk, and then. Uh, Now, as I was just saying, keep in mind that a lot of your components are designed to be overclocked to a certain level. Always make sure that you're not exceeding the maximum overclock speed or power of any of your parts. That means when you overclock it, you want to overclock it to the level of your weakest link, no higher.
Yeah. No house fires. Thank you. Melting components equals house fires equals death. And that being said, I think we should probably just. It's going to be a short stream, and I'm sorry about that, about an hour stream. I think we should
Yep.
probably see what you wanted to talk about and then go into open discussion and then close it.
Yep, sounds good. I just wanted to say, this came to my attention recently. Uh, the Atari team that's still around, because even though Atari was bought up by, it was Microsoft, wasn't it, that bought Atari?
Yeah, they have a monopoly on just about anything, so I would believe it was Microsoft.
Anyway, even though Microsoft owns Atari, the Atari team just announced they're working on a new product called Atari Box. Now, whether this is a digital service or an actual new console, I'm not sure. All I know is that in the teaser trailer for it, I saw a box with wood grain paneling on it. Now, they obviously did not announce this at E3 because they're only just getting started on production.
Yeah, I want to see what they come out with for that.
I honestly, I would be excited because if the name implies anything, it's that it's a new console, and I would love for them to just finish Sword Quest.
Oh, even though all of the parts, bits, and pieces and rewards for Sword Quest is like melted down.
By a jackass who had probably more than plenty in his bank account.
Yep. We'll
Those
never.
were
Hey, I wasn't allowed to blow up. You gotta meditate. While he's meditating, Sword Quest is it's his area of expertise. It was a competition of some sort to essentially
win
explore four
treasures.
different, yeah, win treasures, win real world treasures by exploring a digital world. Well, four different
Yep,
digital worlds.
yep. You see, in Sword Quest, you had Fire World, Earth World, Water World, as AVGN would say, not the Kevin Costner version. Now, the contests for Fire and Earth World went through just fine. The Fire World winner got a pendant with a gold pendant with 12 diamonds and the stones of the Zodiac with a sword on the front. And the Earth World won the, I believe it's the Philosopher's Stone. Yeah, I think it's the Philosopher's Stone. No, Chalice. The Philosopher's Stone was for Airworld. Anyway, so unfortunately, though, these were Atari games, and they existed around the time the video game crashed, so they couldn't afford to host the Water World tournament, so it was just Fire and Earth World out there. And then Airworld never got produced. Because what was supposed to happen is all four of these people were going to come back. The one with the pendant, the chalice, the Philosopher's Stone, and the crown. And they were going to compete for the sword. That's why this was called Sword Quest. It was a sword with a silver blade. That's right, actual silver. A gold handle encrusted with rubies, emeralds, just all the stones of the Zodiac, diamonds, semi-precious stones. And it was just beautiful. Now, obviously, because the contest was never finished, and Atari had to sell out to Microsoft. I believe it was Microsoft. The owner at the time, I believe, took possession of the treasures, and certain eyewitness accounts claim that they've seen the sword hanging in his living room. Now, it's apparently true because we just received reports a while ago, several years ago, I believe, that these items were in fact melted down.
At least the
But
last two, I do believe.
yes, the last two. Well, it would have included the crown, the Philosopher's Stone case, anyway, because the Philosopher's Stone itself was a large piece of white jade, and the sword were melted down.
Yeah, I would. I cringe at the thought of how much you would spend, or you would spend to get the other two, the pendant and the what was that? The chalice?
The chalice, yes. And I don't think they're giving that up for anything because that was the first esports competition.
Right.
Those are
And if they do,
relics.
okay, if they do give it up, uh, you better be willing to sell your little brother.
Yep. Because keep in mind, these are relics of the gaming community. They represent what we dream of on a day-to-day basis.
I've never actually won anything in my life, so even if it was just like winning for lack of a better term, let's say Lothric's crown, winning a physical copy of that, even if it was just cheap, I would not give that up for shit.
Absolutely. Of course, if they do bring back the Sword Quest tournament, they would have to reproduce the last three treasures.
Mm-hmm.
Although I believe the stone itself would be intact because you can't really melt down white jade.
Mm-mm. No, the most you can do is
But
chip it out.
yep. So if the white jade still is intact, then all they'd have to do is reproduce the case, which it would still be friggin' expensive. But then they would have to honor the agreement with the two previous winners.
Mm-hmm. And who knows where they are?
They're around, I believe. They still show up to conventions sometimes, I think.
No shit. Well, that
All
being
right,
said,
well,
let's lead into open discussion.
yep. Let's see how many viewers do we have right now.
Two.
Two watching. One of them is me. Uh, all right. Well, it doesn't look like I don't think we're going to be able to get into an open discussion because as much as I really enjoy Tech Talk, I think it's just a little too close to the middle of the week. But
Still, I know, but sorry.
I think it's like more people are interested in like rather than talking about the actual tech, they want to talk about games and software.
Okay, so we should probably change that around because, like, Tech Talk's actually, I've run out of shit to say halfway through.
Oh yeah, Tone says this lovely person is here. Well, if you've got a question or something to contribute to the stream, we would appreciate it. What I think we'll do is like, we'll break down the format of Tech Talk, and we will open with games and software and whatnot, and then we'll lead into hardware, and that'll give us a format to
Yeah,
work with.
I mean, we have a format for everything else. This is the only thing that's unstructured.
Yep. So from now, is that agreeable with our audience? Do you want to have us start off with games and software and what's coming down the pipeline there, and then lead into different hardware stuff? Obviously, only one of you is here, so Tone, your opinion will be accounted for, and then we'll also consider future comments on this. We got a week till next
Yeah, because,
Tech
like,
Talk.
I've got, like, I'm sorry. The only feedback I really got was, you're boring. So,
Tone says no potatoes. So I'm not entirely sure what that means as far as the context. Maybe she's talking about weak ass processors.
right, maybe. I couldn't tell you.
I think that's how EA makes its servers.
Potatoes. Yeah, they just plug a red wire in to one potato. It's like making a clock. EA is shit. EA is shit.
Yep. I think it was like they were a more entertaining company back before they started really getting into online stuff. Like, I remember really enjoying Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which was an EA game.
Right. That wasn't bad. No, I played that for PS. What was that? PS1?
PS2. Back when like their
Mm.
slogan was EA Games Challenge Everything.
Yes. I played it for actually instead, I do believe GameCube.
Now
Sorry, I'm
Tone's
being
talking about how maybe she has no potatoes to make food.
yeah.
So you're in a potato famine.
Hey Tom, want a potato?
Don't be mean. Uh, so
Well,
yeah,
as
I
I
think
was
that's a
trying to
good
say,
structure. Go ahead.
without um without feedback, how am I supposed to know that I am just shit? Like I need constructive criticism, not just things like now I got that constructive criticism, yes, which is why I tried to not drone on and on about one topic too long. I think I jumped around a little too much
She's
this
mad at
time.
you for having. She's mad at you for having potatoes.
I made a breakfast scrambler, and it's delicious.
All right, you two. But yes, constructive criticism is important. In order for us to get to make better content, which we really do want to do, not only for ourselves but for you guys.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, we've only got 12 of you watching, and 4 of them participate. So I mean, it's really honestly up to the other 8 to point out our shortcomings.
Yep. And as long as you're not like trolling us, just giving us a rant without any kind of constructive criticism, we'll gladly listen to what you have to say. We love the feedback. If you have suggestions on techniques and devices we can use to make our content even better, we'd be happy to know.
I think that's ranch dressing.
Will you stop?
At any rate, I think this is the point where we need to cut out, and I need to apologize.
Yep.
I feel like I've failed you guys as a content creator doing so. And I do deeply apologize, okay? I think she's straight disconnected because I was eating potatoes. All right.
Yeah. And I would like to apologize as well. I have not been putting out content even though I've had it filmed. It's just a question of getting home on a day where I'm not feeling like I'm ready to pass out, or I'm so stressed that I would make bad content. Because I will not create content if it's going to be bad.
Which is why I haven't touched my channel in well over 2 months.
But we both like to apologize for that. Surprisingly, out of the 3 of us, Kenny is probably the #1 content creator among us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not surprisingly. I mean, he does a lot. Like, he can jam out a couple of edits a day like it's nothing.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna have him try to contract him into making my channel description.
Yep, I might do that as well. Anyway, I think this is a good place to cut the feed for now. So remember, guys, to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. That's at weekend_dojo on Twitter and just Weekend Dojo on Facebook. If you have any questions, our lovely manager Tone will be answering those on the Twitter first. If she's not available, it'll be me, JT, or Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
You'd
remember,
probably have an easier. Sorry, you'd probably have an easier time getting a hold of him. I don't really run the Twitter page.
Yep. Also, you can head back to the Weekend Dojo channel page, and you'll find channels for me, JT, and Kenny sitting in the featured channel section. Go check us out. We'd love to have you. JT and I are going to try to produce more content for you guys. I promise. It's just going to be a matter of just sitting down and jamming it out.
Right. All right. This has been another
been
the first Tech Talk Thursday with JT Games TV and
El Chizo Reviews.
Check us back out later. Bye, guys.
Later, Bugheads.